All right, let's talk about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had a rough, week 1 and week 2, but that's over now. They won week 3. So let's talk about how he surely destroyed the Texans defense in this one. No, that did not happen. This was actually I think probably the most concerning performance that Cincinnati has had all year, only putting up 3 points against a good defense. And we'll get into, what Tennessee did well to, prevent the Bengals from being able to move the ball. But let's just get into it and talk about why the Bengals couldn't move the ball, specifically in the passing game. Starting off with this play, it's going to be a zone coverage play, 3rd down and 3. And, a lot of people are kind of saying, well, Joe Burrow's injured. That's all it is. Simple fix. Once Burrow gets healthy, they'll be fine. I actually don't think that that's true. I think that there are other issues at play. It's like, this one, again, zone coverage play that the Titans are in. Burrow is going to take a high snap, looks over towards the bottom of the screen. You see how neither one of those players look over there are open. Looks like Jamar Chase is the route that he was hoping to get open, but, Tennessee doing a good job of covering the players. And so, okay, for Burrow, well, all right, it is what it is. Let's get to our next read. Burrow does that. He's going to look over towards the left, and, deeper down the field, there is a potential window. Now, there's a safety over there. I actually don't think this is that open, but maybe you could try to push this one if you wanted to. Be a really dangerous throw. There also is one underneath that's just straight up not open. And just to be clear, the safety is just off screen. So maybe you can make that throw, maybe you don't. I don't know. But the reality is there's just not guys getting open consistently. Maybe one mailbox type opening is not good enough here when Burrow has now looked at 4 different receivers. On top of this, Burrow, tries to make a sort of throw underneath, but gets hit as he's thrown, and the ball is nowhere close. That's what it looked like. It's possible he just threw that one away too, but it looked to me like it was the pressure that caused that one to go away. So it's just nothing's working right now. I mean, we can blame Burrow all we want, and we'll get into some Burrow criticisms. We will, but also receivers aren't getting open, and that's a real concern because kind of the benefit of this team these past couple years has been their amazing receiving core. I'll play like this, another concerning example if you're a Cincinnati fan, where this is going to be a 3rd down and 7. It's man coverage that the Tennessee Titans are in right here. Okay, one-on-one matchups, single safety deep. It's been this weird trend this season where teams for the longest time just would say, hey, you have Jamar Chase, we're not running this coverage against you because we're not giving Jamar Chase a one-on-one matchup. We're not giving T. Higgins a one-on-one matchup. We're not giving Tyler Boyd a one-on-one matchup. This is just, Cincinnati's supposed to have so much firepower that this coverage is essentially a death sentence. But what we're going to see here is what we saw pretty consistently, in the past few weeks as well, where, we can't see everyone on the field given it's not all 22 footage. But, there does appear to be someone open a little bit further down the field, kind of the top left-hand corner. It's just going to take another half second to let this play develop because it is further down the field. It's 3rd down and 7. Maybe one criticism I would have put for Zach Taylor is could have worked in some shorter routes in this game, some plays that could get rid of the football quickly. That's kind of been a criticism of Zach Taylor's scheme a lot, is that he doesn't always can get his quarterbacks hit a good chunk. That's part of how he coaches football. Listen, it works to some degree as well, but that's just one of the drawbacks. And as you see, Burrow is going to eventually get hit and he gets sacked right there. That's one of the criticisms of Joe Burrow, right? Is that he takes too many sacks. And so it's just when guys aren't getting open, Burrow's holding on to the ball for a bit too long. Offensive line can't block, so they don't have time to, hold it for him. He's getting sacked, and those are killing drives. Also heading over here. So this is going to be all-out blitz time for the Tennessee Titans. They are sending the house. They are trying to create pressure for Burrow, trying to see if they can get a straight shot Burrow's way. That's what they're hoping to see have happen here. Again, big play, 3rd down and 4 right here. At this point, still a tie game with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. And as you see, it works. I mean, they get a straight shot towards Burrow. Burrow gets hit as he's thrown, and the ball falls incomplete. So, you got to give credit to Tennessee. I mean, what they were doing was working. Part of how the coverage was good was because they were covering well, right? And when they're going to dial up these blitzes, which, again, teams used to just straight up never blitz Joe Burrow because, you can't send pressure. He's just going to throw it to Jamar Chase, and now you're going to have a big gain. That's not happening right now. And I don't know exactly why it's not happening, but it's just not happening. And then, I talked about how, Burrow himself does deserve criticism as well. Burrow's play has not been as good as you typically expect to see him play. This is a good example where it's going to be a man coverage play, and they have a concept that's a great concept in this situation. Like, this should work. They're expecting this to be man coverage on a 3rd down and 4. It's late in the game at this point, but hey, 27-3, we have seen at least one comeback of, 1 point higher than that. So, it is possible, albeit unlikely. And, you're playing for pride a little bit as well. Designed to get Tyler Boyd open. You have a tight end kind of run in the way of, where the guy who's supposed to cover Tyler Boyd, he runs towards the sideline, hopefully can get open. Just this little pick play, rub route, whatever you want to call it. These plays can work. As you see, Burrow's going to take the snap and, looks over here. Okay, is it about to get open? It's pretty good coverage. It's not like it's, a great situation here for Cincinnati. But all right, let's see how this throw is. This throw is nowhere close. It almost made me wonder if he just threw it away. But I can't imagine you're throwing the football away on a 3rd down and 4 on a 50-50 ball. I think he just missed that throw, which, again, leads to some people speculating, is he injured? Is he not fully healthy? And, he did basically say that he played through an injury last week, so it's totally reasonable to think that he just isn't 100%, and that's costing his play. I do think some people are kind of making it seem, though, that once he gets healthy, then the Bengals are good. There's other issues here. There really is. And, I've talked about the receiving core. I've talked about Burrow. Got to talk about the offensive line as well. Like, going over here, one of the big moves they made this offseason that I was talking about as this great move of, oh my God, the Bengals get it. They signed Orlando Brown Jr. to a lot less than what people thought he would end up getting. So it's like, wow, franchise left tackle. This could be really good. I don't know if it's just this is a tough scheme, because we've seen this happen now a couple of times where good players have come to Cincinnati and just struggled. Quite frankly, just looking down the list right now, if we want to use PFF grades, which I know aren't everyone's favorite to use, not a single offensive lineman is even at the average mark of a 60 grade at this point. Everyone is below average, including Orlando Brown Jr., who you'll see on this play, and they haven't had a single injury. This has been healthy. Watch as when, you see this play begin, Brown, he's just getting beat pretty badly right here. The pass rusher is right there. So for Burrow, this is kind of a thing where it's like, I am someone who constantly talks about how, hey, doesn't matter how good the pass rush is on most plays, if you can get someone open quickly, if you can find a way to get rid of the football quickly. And even on this play, maybe Burrow just needed to get to the checkdowns faster. That's probably something, again, that is a criticism of him taking too many sacks. But also, it's like, when all these plays are happening, when there's this much pressure happening this quickly, it's hard for a quarterback to succeed. Look, as you see, Burrow's going to try to step away, but that's not going to work out too well, and they're able to get the sack on that one. So again, the offensive line has to block better. That's another, that's kind of become a trend for Cincinnati, but it's a real thing. So where does Cincinnati go from here? It's weird because it almost reminds me a little bit of Tampa Bay last year, where remember Tampa Bay, everyone kind of talking about them as a championship contender, but then the season started and they just looked off, and basically their star players just weren't playing as well on offense, and that's a big part of why, it wasn't like this. They had some injuries, whereas Cincinnati really kind of doesn't, other than the Joe Burrow injury, which is, definitely notable. But it's I don't know, T. Higgins, I usually consider him a number 1 receiver who just happens to be a number 2 receiver because they have Jamar Chase. He hasn't looked great this year. Tyler Boyd hasn't looked great this year. This entire offensive line has not looked great this year. Joe Burrow has not looked great this year. And even Jamar Chase, he's looked good. He's kind of been the one bright spot, I think, of this. But he still hasn't been the typical elite Jamar Chase that we're used to seeing either, I would say. So because of this, everyone's been disappointing on offense, and maybe you have to start looking at the coaching staff. I don't know. Luckily, they do have a game that's, I would say, is very winnable next week. They're playing Arizona, who's I think their offense is scrappy. Their defense has given up a ton of yards and a ton of points so far. If they can't get it going against Arizona, then it's really time for concern. It's already time to be concerned to some degree because, 1-3, I mean, that basically means unless you win out, you're not getting the 1 seed, and you're going to, that's a big loss right away when you thought that was a real possibility going into the year. But at the same time, at this point, they got to focus on making the playoffs. So, that's what I think about all this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.